The poor caretaker. I fear his long-standing duties here have affected him.
Hello, everyone. Science Viking here, and it is time to return to Darkest Dungeon. Let's see, I have a Vestal in desperate need of stress treatment, but... Oh, right, but there's a risk of contagion. And I also can't treat her with any of the stress treatment that I have that isn't already full, because I'm guessing the only place she'll go is the brothel. Well, I guess the Vestal isn't going to be receiving any stress treatment then, is she? Okay, so yeah, I only have 2 champion level heroes yet. Let's look into upgrading some things. Now that I finally have some cash at least. Of course, as we're seeing, I will very soon not have any cash. While I'm at it, I think I do need to hold on to my heirlooms for now in order to get a few more. Let's see. Let's upgrade a few people whose stuff who are low level. Partially because it costs less to do so, and partially because the low-level people need some upgrading. And lo and behold, we're out of money again. Okay. Let's see what my mission options are. So... I could go after the Viscount, but 1, I only have 1 invitation, and 2, I only have 2 champion-level heroes, so I really shouldn't do that yet. Let's see, I can get a Stalwart Buckle. And get a Witch's Vial, which isn't really very good for a Plague Doctor. Let's see, a Steady Bracer. The plus 10 accuracy to range skills is actually pretty good. That's in the Wield. It's an intermediate difficulty mission. So, if I were to do that, who would I send? Unfortunately, the main healers are all in really bad shape stress-wise. And I have a decent number of inexperienced people that should really get some experience. Let's see. I could run into the thing from the stars, but... I think I am actually going to go after the Purify the Altars mission to get a bit more mastery in the ruins. And the question is who to send. So what skills does Fontamai have? Okay, so Fontamai, the Flagellant wants to be in a frontward position. Let's combine that with a Man-at-Arms. And a Vestal, and because I'm tired of being broke, I'm also going to include an Antiquarian. So unequip all trinkets. Sort by character class. Okay, the Vestal has the right abilities. Now let's give her the right equipment. Let's see. Let's go with Junia's Head, as usual, and the Worry Stone. For the Antiquarian... Let's see, she has Festering Vapors, Nervous Stab, Invigorating Vapors, and Protect Me. She's got the Master's Essence, even though she doesn't have her healing ability. And then, what else? Let's give her a Protection Stone. Now, I actually have Flagellant-specific equipment. Eternity's Collar. Increased death blow resistance, dodge, and increased damage if his stress is above 85. And Resurrection's Collar, which increases his healing skills and reduces his bleed skill chance. His bleed skill chance is high enough to balance that out, but I also have a hunch that Reclaim is classified as a bleed skill, and that reducing his bleed skill chance means reducing the chance of Reclaim causing bleeding on himself. Okay, now for the Man-at-Arms. Let's see. I'll give him a Health Stone, because his max HP is already naturally high, and a Dodge Stone, and we'll call it good, because I apparently don't have any Man-at-Arms specific equipment either. I also want to change his ability set. Let's trade Bellow for Rampart, and Bolster for Retribution. Okay, this shouldn't be too horrifying. I mean, we all know it's going to be a little horrifying, but let's just hope for a marginally horrifying mission. Right, gotta bring plenty of food, because we're not likely to be able to scavenge for food in the ruins. A little anti-venom and a few bandages, but we don't need very much of either. We'll not forget the torches. There is a use for medicinal herbs, but it's not a very common one. But uses for holy water are fairly common. Okay, I think we're ready. And let's find out how this flagellant dies, because much like mech troopers in XCOM, the flagellants always die.
Can the defiled be consecrated? Can the fallen find rest?
Sure hope so. Otherwise this whole mission is kind of pointless. Okay, got some stashed heirlooms and an antique. And so far, nothing else. Let's see what we get down this way. Whoa. And a trap, but I'm sure the flagellant doesn't
mind that such
mind.
missteps are the exception, and not the rule.
You know, what would actually be funny would be if the flagellant doesn't gain stress when he gets hit by a trap, considering his, you know, proclivities.
Wealth beyond measure, awarded to the brave and the foolhardy alike.
That like if the flagellant gets hit by a trap, his stress level goes down. Though I don't know, he seems to only really enjoy taking damage when it's self-inflicted, and he can still be stressed out by enemies damaging him. So who knows?
In Radiance, may we find victory.
Victory and hunger, apparently. It's a little bit of both. Right, to this room. And there's the one curio interaction for medicinal herbs, the Iron Maiden. And no, I'm taking the onyx, not the jade.
Even the cold stone seems bent on preventing passage.
And we have our first corrupted altar. We haven't had any combat yet. This has been interesting. So the cold stone continues to be bent on preventing passage. Light up another torch. And our first scouting. And the scouting reveals nothing! There is nothing ahead of us. We really have some very abundant nothing in this mission. It's like they got a fresh shipment of nothing and they just dumped it all here. And our second quest location, ladies and gentlemen. This is not the way I was expecting this mission to go.
Spirits are lifted, and purpose is made clear.
Okay, and I managed to stress the flagellant out a bit more. And we finally have some combat. Tempting goblet, even further stress for the flagellant. Well, I have the ability to retaliate with Rain of Sorrows, though I'm just now realizing the implications of sending the bleeding specialist to the crypt. I didn't really think about that one before I did it. So yeah, the flagellant isn't likely to be able to contribute a lot in this mission. I mean, he has Reclaim, which is actually very good, but... I mean, he can reduce the enemy's bleed resistance, which can eventually get to the point where you can make skeletons bleed. Okay, we no longer need to worry about the torture. We do need to worry about the Arablest, though. Never stab, get rid of the soldier.
Falls, a faint hope.
That's two of them that we're done with now. Let's go with Divine Comfort. We need some broad spectrum healing here.
Slowly.
There we go.
Gently. This is how a life is taken.
Punish on the Bone Defender. That actually did pretty okay damage. I believe every one of the Flagellant's abilities that can inflict bleeding also inflicts also reduces bleed resistance, except for Reclaim. So he can gradually, even if an enemy doesn't bleed immediately, he can kind of gradually wear them down to a point where they do. Sticking with Punish. Bleed resistance is down to only 160%. Unfortunately, his crush resistance is much lower.
Maintain the offensive.
Judgment. Now we just have the Arablest hiding behind a bunch of corpses. And let's just keep up with Judgment. And I shouldn't have done that. Well, I mean, in retrospect, I shouldn't have done that. Okay, and I forgot, he can't use Reclaim on himself. Stab. That is a very agile Arablest. He's quick on his feet for the fact that he practically doesn't have feet anymore, being a skeleton. Okay, got treasure, curio, and this is a quest location. Well, I'm going for the treasure before I go for the quest location, but that's the last quest location. This is a really generous map layout. And again,
watch your step.
The Flagellant fails to disarm the trap. I really shouldn't have expected the Flagellant to be able to disarm the trap. But now we're dealing with enemies that actually can bleed. Hopefully we won't have to deal with blanket fire too many times.
A singular strike.
I mean, we don't have to deal with whatever the Cutthroat was going to do at all, apparently. Crush the Bloodletter. Go for a bandage. And Divine Grace is badly needed. Would have preferred more than a 6.
A slow death. Unforeseen. Unforgiving.
Rain of Sorrows. Okay, that's the end of the Fusilier. Get some healing. Of course, I get the critical healing on someone who has full health and 0 stress.
A death by inches.
Nervous Stab. It will do almost nothing, but whatever. And Crush. Will do plenty. And while we're at it, it's time for some punishment. Or the ability where the Flagellant whips himself, and this somehow damages the enemy. It's Darkest Dungeon. Things tend to be weird around here. And his resolve is tested, and he is rapturous.
Wherefore, heroism. The bigger the beast, the greater the glory.
Okay, and let's open the heirloom chest. And get lots of stuff. And the inventory isn't even close to full. It's close enough, apparently.
Twisted and made merciless.
Behold, the light shines from my wounds. Okay, let's start with our old friend Punish, because he's right in position to be hit by it. Nervous Stab.
Devastating.
Ooh, critical Nervous Stab. Sublime. And for the other two, Dazzling Light. Well, Dazzling Light and Rampart. Let's see if we can stun it.
The match is struck.
Stunned on the first try.
A blazing star is born.
Okay, stun resistance is 100%. Rampart has only a 110% chance to stun. I'll risk it. That 10% chance is worth it. But he's in position to be hit by Punish again. But he resisted the bleeding this time. And his stun resistance is still elevated, but again, 10% chance that Earthmark will stun him. Let's find out if it does. I guess 10% was high enough. Alright, Judgment, and it failed. But we've managed to get him well below half health before he's had a chance to even do anything. And now, after 2 full rounds of us wailing on him, he finally manages to use Collect Call. And now the Flagellant has buffed himself. He damaged himself, but he also buffed himself, so I'm calling this a win. And now the Collector is still within range for Rain of Sorrows. Okay, the Vestal needs to switch to actually doing some healing, though. The problem is this team has a little difficulty hitting the Collector when he's that far back. Okay, Nervous Stab can hit the Highwayman, but it won't kill, but Crush might be able to finish the job. Operative word, might. And it can.
Surges as the enemy crumbles.
Okay, I still can't reach him with Punish, so stick with Rain of Sorrows. Okay. And Crush. And there we go. Now we just need to suffer through the enemy's... oh, damn it. Premature Celebration for the lose. And he goes for Collect Call. And it's all time Headhunt. Everyone loves Headhunt. Okay, let's just go with Judgment. It won't kill, but it will reduce him to 1 hit.
A momentary abatement.
Okay, and I'm gonna go with Reclaim to heal the, and Reclaim actually caused the bleeding damage that it has been known to
its own
cause.
peril.
But I have bandages.
These nightmarish creatures can be felled. They can be beaten.
Okay, we survived the Headhunter. And now we have to deal with these guys, and then we have our one final quest location. You guys should realize at this point that damaging the Flagellant only helps me. Okay, up to a point, he can actually die.
Breath from becoming unwound.
Nice. I'm gonna go with Rain of Sorrows because we don't want to have to deal with the Acolyte. Unfortunately, the Acolyte also managed to resist bleeding. Divine Grace to get him off of Death's Door. Unfortunately, he can't grant health regeneration to himself. That would actually be extremely helpful, so that he can be at critical health but not actually at Death's Door. Okay, we don't have to deal with the Courtier anymore. That's good. Sticking with Rain of Sorrows. She bleeds.
Weakened.
And Nervous Stab won't kill the rabble, but it'll get us close. And I pretty much need to inflict 1 more point of damage on the Acolyte by any means, and Judgment is a perfectly sufficient means.
A momentary abatement.
Let's get rid of the Bone Rabble. And let's go with Exsanguinate.
Great is the weapon that cuts on its own.
Okay, just a little more damage when we're done with the Brawler. And there we go.
Continue the onslaught. Destroy them all.
Okay, it's actually not worth dropping the Citrine for the blood. Because we have so much of the blood just in Sanguine Ventures.
Curious is the trap maker's art. His efficacy unwitnessed by his own eyes.
Okay, I'm actually gonna drop the Anti-Venom as well, because there probably isn't even a fight in the quest location. And then we can just get out of here. There isn't. Let's use the concentrated essence. And I am going to explore the rest of this to see if we can get any more loot, but first let's make camp. And feast.
A moment of respite. A chance to steel oneself against the coming horror.
Sanctuary. Lashes anger. He has a camping skill. The flagellant has a camping skill that increases his own stress. Let's see. I'm gonna use tactics, and then I'll have the. I'll actually use chant on the man-at-arms to reduce his stress, so that he might not need stress treatment when this is all over. Unfortunately, everyone takes a stress hit, probably due to the flagellant being
the promise of safety
afflicted. Okay, let's explore just a little bit more, get a little bit more loot before we get out of here. And it's already worth it. So grows the burden, so grows my strength. Okay, punish. I don't see why that is a line that would cause the other heroes any stress, though. Like, usually the lines that characters can say that stress out their teammates, you can understand why that would stress out their teammates, but that one almost seems kind of inspiring in its own odd way. Same thing, faith over steel.
Fear and frailty finally claim their due.
A nervous stab to wear down the courtier. And crush to finish the game. I honestly didn't even need nervous stab. Crush would have taken care of it. Though I didn't know that I was going to get that critical. Okay, punish. Get rid of that brawler, leaving us with only one brawler. And dazzling light, so you don't have to take damage on turn. Or it could fail. Stab. And they're really concentrating on the flagellant, and I'm sure he doesn't mind. Okay, just a little bit more damage and we're done with the brawler. Honestly, considering the fact that the thing from the stars is roaming this area and we have two people who are afflicted, we probably should get out of here sooner rather than later.
Success so clearly in view.
We're going to find out what's at the end of this hallway,
or is it
then
merely a trick of the light?
Then we probably should get out. Let's see what scouting says. I'm going to go to the end of this hallway. I'm not risking another hallway battle, because any hallway battle could be the thing from the stars, and we are not equipped to take that down right now.
Glittering gold, trinkets and baubles.
But
paid for in blood.
These two curios have gotten me a lot. Okay, that extra bit of exploration found us a lot of stuff. Now let's get out of here.
This day belongs to the light.
In addition to the 4,500, we got a further 17,000 gold from a novice mission. And a rather impressive haul of heirlooms while we're at it. That said, half the team is afflicted. And frankly, the man-at-arms is also going to need some stress treatment.
The shuffling dead are silenced. We have claimed dominion over the ruins once more.
Silence in the crypts. Yep, Arundel can only be treated in the brothel. Where are the people who went on this mission? Alright. Fontamai. Oh, of course. The flagellant can only receive stress treatment in the penance hall. That's not even a quirk, that's just a class feature, basically. I mean, it makes sense, but unfortunately the penance hall is occupied right now. And, the man-at-arms will only drink. Well, let's go get him drunk. In the meantime, upgrading the penance hall will reduce the treatment cost.
However desperate, is never without worth.
But I can't then... I don't actually have enough heirlooms to increase the number of slots in the penance hall. However, I'm gonna upgrade the furnace now. I'm gonna trade away some of my crests to get enough deeds to upgrade the furnace and the blacksmith. Because we're gonna need to upgrade. We're gonna be upgrading equipment a lot. I want it to cost as little as I can make it cost. Scroll through the high-level people first. Also, let's get Foliot some. Let's get rid of Foliot's Sky Taint. He got that from fighting the thing, didn't he? And now would be a good time to visit the guild and get some skill upgrades. Let's see. Bulbex Bolus. Dismas' Open Vein. Frossart's healing abilities. And again, we're now out of not only money, but also heirlooms. Which means it's time for another mission. Let's see. I could go back to the ruins, and I would get, with some intermediate strength people. And I would get, let's see, a tough ring. That could actually be pretty good in the hands, equipped to like a man-at-arms or something. So I could go to the Warrens, get a diseased herb, the Wield, and get a bright tambourine. If I don't already have one of those, that's what I'm going for. Yeah, that's what I'm going for. It's a long mission, which just means it'll make significant progress towards the next boss, but the bright tambourine is actually really good, especially the boost to the Jester's stress skills. I'm also going to bring a Jester, and let's see. Yeah, the only low-level Vestal we have is currently being treated, so instead we're going to have an Occultist. And who else? Let's see. It's times like these that makes me really wish that I had a, I'll bring a, Grave Robber. It's times like these that make me really wish that I had a, Bounty Hunter, because a Bounty Hunter in position 1 would go really well with this team composition. I also need to actually equip people with trinkets. Okay, so I'm equipping all trinkets and sorting them. So the Occultist gets Junia's Head and a Worry Stone. That's just what the medic gets at this point, no matter what. Let's see. Yeah, the Jester gets the Bleed Amulet, and also, I'll give him the Blight Charm to balance out the bleed resistance. The debuff to bleed resistance. Let's see. And I'll go for the Blighting Satchel and the Sickening Satchel for the Grave Robber. Not guaranteed to do a lot of good, but it could do some good. And the Hellion gets the Lioness Warpaint and Heaven's Hairpin. Simple enough. Okay, now for supplies. We want plenty of food. A lot of torches. A decent stock of shovels. I think we can run it. Yeah, the left luggages and right luggages can require keys. Some medicinal herbs, and then plenty of bandages and antivenom. Okay, I'd say we're prepared, which means I've probably forgotten something, and I guess we'll find out what it is.
I knew all these paths once. Now they are as twisted as my own ambitions.
Okay, this is gonna involve some backtracking.
A handsome reward for a task well performed.
It's gonna involve quite a bit of backtracking. Even under ideal circumstances, I'm gonna be running back and forth a lot here. Nothing nothing so far. There's been a lot of nothing this episode. No risk of running into the thing from the stars this time. Here we have scouting, but that's actually somewhat meaningless. I'm still going to this room just to get it marked off. And the 2 more deeds are definitely worth it. Okay, watch for the trap. There it is. And this is why we bring a grave robber. Okay. Now back the other way. Gotta admit, the wolves howling in the distance is very eerie. Really adds to the atmosphere. Okay, we've got... Let's see how long our luck holds out, shall we? Let's see how far we can make it before we end up having to kill something. And then after that, we can see how long we make it before we end up being killed by something.
As the light gains purchase, spirits are lifted, and purpose is made clear.
Okay, and another curio interaction. This is why we bring both bandages and anti-venom. We're gonna drop a citrine for the sapphires and leave the jade. This is gonna be a long mission. We need to hold on to our supplies. Whoa!
Mechanical hazards, possessed by evil intent.
Okay. Still nothing. That's 1, 2, 3, 4 rooms in, and we have yet to have any kind of battle. I had to do it. I did it. I tempted fate, and now we're fighting the Collector. Our first battle is the Collector. Okay, let's go with Battle Valley for now. The Collector is not in a position where the Jester can hit it. And Vulnerability X. And Wicked Hack. But since I don't have any stunning abilities, I get to use Collect Call immediately this time. But, Thrown Dagger. Slice off on the collected highway. I want to get rid of him as quickly as I can. Demons pull on the Collector to see if he's susceptible to moving. Well, he is, but it didn't work this time. And Iron Swan. Okay, so we have to deal with one round of them doing their thing, and then we can finish off the Collector. The end of that instance of the collected highway then. Thrown dagger. Oh, and that's the end of the Collector. I think I've done with you hardly. And I have a bandage to use up on the Hellion anyway, creating an empty inventory space. But that was our. Is that like a predictor of things to come that our first battle was with the Collector? Okay, I'm gonna go to this room just because I don't know exactly how many I can afford to skip. Harvest should actually kill both of these. Just barely not. Well, pick the face of
another one falls.
And unfortunately, the Hellion narrowly avoids being bravely nibbled.
By inches.
Wicked Hack. There we go.
This expedition at least promises success.
And we have emeralds. I don't know. I mean, our first encounter was with the headhunter. I'm not so sure about this being an expedition that promises success. And that shuffle right there, yeah, that's not promising in the slightest. I'm going with Harvest with the Jester. You can wear down the Bloodletter and the Cutthroat with that. Okay, one more Prone Dagger and we're rid of the this guy. Okay, go with Weakening Curse on the Bloodletter to make him deal less damage. And just have the Hellion gradually walk forward until she's back in formation. This isn't a terribly shuffle-resistant team. This team also struggles to deal with area damage, and we're dealing with both shuffling and area damage.
Their formation
Okay, that's the end of one problem.
Maintain the offensive.
If it bleeds, just get rid of the Cutthroat. Slice off, which he can't use in position 1 to start wearing down the Bloodletter. And Weird Reconstruction, and my first taste of Weird Reconstruction disappointment. It's bound to happen sooner or later.
Clarified in a single strike.
Bandage, use Poison Darts. Because they actually cause a fairly large amount of blight damage. Use Slice Off, and we're done. Weird Reconstruction again. And apparently complaining actually solved something. He heard me and decided to double his efforts.
Unless inordinate exsanguination be considered a virtue.
Drop an anti-venom for a portrait. Use a skeleton key.
A fortune waiting to be spent.
And I have to leave most of this behind, unfortunately. Okay. We should make camp soon. We're pretty much past the halfway point of this mission. Go a little bit farther. Run into the collector a couple of more times, and then we can rest. And more loot. Sack's contents are mine, all mine. Actually, that extra portrait is rather helpful. And spiders, and more shuffling. Okay, now we're in something that at least, a formation that at least sort of works. It's not very good, but it's at least vaguely functional.
Death waits for the slightest lapse in concentration.
Okay, the Jester is stunned and marked and stressed. Fortunately, he is at least alive for now. And the enemy's accuracy is apparently real bad. Kick to the face.
Back to the pit.
Does Spit deal extra damage to marked enemies? I wonder. Bite certainly does. Weird Reconstruction. Whoa! Now we're getting all the good healing numbers.
Executed with impunity.
Oh, come on. Well, I mean, the torch level being this low is going to be affecting our accuracy. Okay, that leaves just the spitter.
Unforeseen. Unforgiving.
And Weakening Curse. Oh, right, it has 3 hit points. Weakening Curse isn't going to be enough to kill it. Because it gets one more attack. And that attack was a miss. I hope you feel satisfied with how you've used your last attack ever.
Continue the
onslaught. There we go.
Destroy them all.
Default party order and make camp before we collect the loot. Feast.
A moment of respite.
And now we have 2 inventory
A
spaces.
chance to steel oneself against the coming horrors.
Unfortunately, I again don't have any abilities that will prevent nighttime ambush. With every rose has its thorns, reduce everyone's stress. Gallows humor, which accidentally stressed out the jester. Well, let's give the jester a pep talk to keep his stress from increasing further. And wound care to get rid of the blight. Okay, kind of an unusual night of camping.
In Radiance, may we find victory.
Okay, let's open up the ancient coffin, and it contains hidden treasures. Okay, let's drop the jade for the crests. And getting pretty close to the end of the mission already. Just this area over here, and then we're done. Though there's going to be more backtracking in this part of the mission. Just a bit more. Ah, these guys! We haven't run into the fungal artillery yet. What mission would be complete without these bastards? Alright. And Slice Off opens up with a miss. Yeah, the odds of blighting them are too low. I'm gonna go with Thrown Dagger followed up by If It Bleeds. So with vulnerability hex on the other fungal artillery. This one, if it bleeds. Okay, I was hoping I would do one more point of damage than that, but I'll take it. Okay, at least they're concentrating the damage on a single person. That's good. I can heal through that. Probably. Maybe. I hope. Thrown Dagger on the other one. Slice Off on the Scratcher now. And Iron Swamp.
Press this advantage.
Okay, we're done with the fungal artillery. Unfortunately, I needed Weird Reconstruction to restore a little bit more than 4 hit points.
This is how a life is.
I'm noticing a bit of a bias here. When the occultist is healing the jester, he actually restores large amounts of hit points. And when he's healing anyone else, not so much. Did the jester, like, slip you a couple of bucks to say, okay, when you're healing me, make sure you get the big healing numbers? Good pick to the face. And no reason not to use Slice Off to guarantee that the Scratcher dies. Okay, there, 15. That's the kind of number we need.
Great is the weapon that cuts on its own.
Okay, and more rending of the mark. And more picking of the face. With Battle Ballad. The extra critical hit chance could actually be very helpful for the Hellion. And, Montgomery, I have a very important question for you. Can you kill this? And we all know the answer to that question.
A faint hope blossoms.
Okay. Search the Traveler's Tent. And someone left valuables that we don't have the inventory space for. I can at least eat the extra food. There's not even anything I'm willing to drop for this loot. Because the inventory is so full. Mummified remains. Let's try bandages. Bandages provide protection for
Wealth
that.
beyond measure.
No use, though.
Awarded to the brave and the foolhardy alike.
I was hoping we'd find something more valuable than that. Okay, I think I'm going to need to go to this room as well as to the other one. Let's see, Thrown Dagger does 5 to 9. If I combine that with If It Bleeds, it should kill. Actually, if I combine it with Harvest, that should kill. And it narrowly doesn't kill, but okay, close enough. We have to deal with one stressful incantation, then we're good. And, go with Weakening Curse on this Scratcher in preparation for something I'll be doing later. the meantime, Iron Swan for the other acolyte.
Decimated.
And then we can be done with the acolytes. Okay. Poison darts on the Scratcher. Oh, it does manage to resist the blight. Slice off, not harvest, because the acolyte will die on their own. And now so will the Scratcher.
Surges as the enemy crumbles.
Yeah, let's go with Weakening Curse again. I want its protection to be as low as possible in preparation for Wicked Hack. Because then that will happen. Or at least that could happen.
Seize this momentum. Push on to the task's end.
Okay. And now for the Collector again, or not. Thrown Dagger, because again, combined with If It Bleeds, that should actually combine with Harvest, that should add up to a kill. And this time it does. This time should and is are the same as each other. In fact, we're done with the Scratcher, too. Okay, that just leaves the other Scratcher, and then the other Scratcher. It reduces protection and damage. Okay, pick to the face. Battle Ballad. Let's power everyone up a little bit. Get another Weakening Curse to reduce his protection even further. And Wicked Hack for the win. Like so.
Be wary. Triumphant pride precipitates a dizzying fall.
Okay, this time I'll drop the last of the bandages for the gold. And more fungal artillery, because there is always more fungal artillery. Okay. Pull this one forward to where everyone can hit it. Slice off, pick to the face, and that's the end of the fungal artillery. Let's see if Iron Swan can one-shot the other one. Nope, not this time. Which means we have to deal with one instance of Mark Prey, and they picked the wrong target. They picked the wrong target for Mark Prey. Yeah, go ahead, damage the Hellion. You may regret doing that a little bit. Yeah, I'm just gonna go pick the face on the Brawler for now. Weakening Curse on the Brawler that reduces damage. The downside to a position 4 Occultist is there's often not a lot that he can do, especially when the fight is going well, actually. Since most of his abilities are about weakening enemies and healing teammates at this point.
About to break.
There's often not a lot that a position 4 Occultist can do when you're winning. Face. Weird reconstruction.
A momentary abatement.
Slice off. Won't kill. But, oh, he died before the Hellion got a turn. I was hoping I could use Adrenaline Rush to get rid of the bleeding.
As victories mount, so too will resistance.
But unfortunately, the Hellion will not have the opportunity to rage the blood back into her body. I choose to imagine that that's what happens when the Hellion uses Adrenaline Rush to stop bleeding. It's like blood is running down her arm, and she just gives the blood a dirty look, and it like gets sucked back up into her body.
Nature
Shovel.
herself, a victim to the spreading corruption, malformed with misintent.
Okay, I have a plan. First, we need to kill some things. And more fungal artillery! slice off this one. So I'm bleeding for 3. Thrown dagger.
Elbow blow.
Oh, did that sting? And if it bleeds on the other one, won't be enough to kill by itself. Which means they always get one chance to use Mark Prey. And let's just go with Weird Recall. And of course, this means having to deal with more Rend the Mark. Though I have to admit, I have to just take a moment to appreciate the mental fortitude of this team. Look at these stress levels. Nobody's stress has made it, like, one person's stress is 11. That's the highest stress level. This is a real, like, I'm impressed by these people. They have held themselves together very well throughout this mission. Throw dagger to get rid of the artillery. If it bleeds to get rid of the Scratcher, well, it won't do it in one turn, but just a little more damage and we're done with the Scratcher. Let's go a slice off. Everyone else can hit position 1. So pick the face. Ow.
Injury.
Okay, now somebody has meaningful stress. And Wicked Hand.
Be gone, fiend.
Okay, there we go. There we go.
Remind yourself that overconfidence is a slow and insidious killer.
Camp. Feast. Wound care. And may as well use Gallows Humor. And that stressed out the Hellion, but turn back time will undo that. And let's just rest and hope we don't have another midnight surprise.
The light, the promise of safety.
We've had some pretty good luck with this mission. Antivenom field with poisonous sap. And we are almost out of here. It'd be a great time for the Collector to show up again. Though, actually, in all seriousness, I'm pretty sure the Collector cannot show up twice on the same mission. Actually, I'm going to drop the gold for the deeds. A stack of deeds. And something spawned in. Let's hope it isn't like a shambler. Oh, no, it's just maggots and a spider. That's nothing. Harvest? Well, got rid of one of them.
Another abomination.
Okay, that's another one. Now we just need to deal with the last maggot. Vulnerability Hex got a critical. Did 1 damage. Get rid of the maggots. I'm surprised we've never seen like what the maggots metamorphose into.
Nonetheless.
I'm surprised we've never seen what the maggots like metamorphose into. I'd think that we would encounter that at some point. Okay, and our first use for the medicinal herbs. I was honestly wondering if I should have dropped them. And everyone's at full health, so that's actually a fairly minor use of the medicinal herbs. I may drop them the next time I have a chance to get something better. And opening up with accusation.
The horror.
You know, if you're going to accuse someone, it surprises me a lot that it's the Hellion and not the occultist. Let's go with Harvest. Won't kill immediately. But they will die from the bleeding damage that Harvest just did if they take no other damage. Now we need to deal with the Madman. And we'll go with Demon's Pull. That will also deal some damage. Unfortunately, the enemies in this group are fast, so we're just kind of at their mercy until our turns eventually roll around. Okay, that's one done.
A brilliant confluence of skill and purpose.
reconstruction. And slice off. And these two will bleed to death on their next turn, so there's not really any point in doing anything. Actually, I suppose there was a point, because this caused... Actually, no, there was absolutely no point, because the Grave Robber would have taken that tick of damage over time no matter what.
Success so clearly in view. Or is it merely a trick of the light?
And another of the same. We liked this group so much last time that we got an encore. Harvest. Iron Swan. Okay, we don't have to deal with the Madman anymore. And let's just stick with Weird Reconstruction for the Occultist. Sacrificial Stab would be nice, but then he couldn't be in position 4.
Such a terrible assault cannot be left unanswered.
I should wait for them to all finish rapidly rushing at us. Which will they'll be done eventually. Stick with Harvest, because that's one of them gone. We can hack on the one with more hit points, not that it really matters that much. Actually, it matters a little bit, because the other one will bleed to death on next action. But we may as well speed up its expiration date a little bit.
Foolish horrors. Brought low and driven into the mud.
I know he said ghoulish, but for a second it sounded like he said foolish horrors brought low.
If only treasure could staunch the flow of otherworldly corruption.
And I'm gonna be honest, at this point, after everything that we've done, even just on this mission, anything that doesn't see us and just get out of the way is kind of foolish. I believe getting to the end of this thread will have actually explored enough rooms. We may have to go back and explore this room. And apparently there aren't any more foolish horrors. Okay, nothing that I can use keys for, so I may as well trade the keys for gold. And moment of truth time. Nope, I do actually need to go back and get that last room. I wasn't sure if I could skip 3 because of how large this map is. Usually you can only skip 2, but I figured with how big this map is and the fact I don't know how to count, I could get away with just 2. Or I could get away with skipping 3, rather. Okay, and our last fight. And I'm gonna light up our last torch, too. Ow! That's a great way to start the last fight of the mission. May as well go with Harvest. And Thrown Dagger for the win. Or for the lose. Eldritch Push, and she actually picked the right target this time, and it worked. So this team is actually managing to create some problems. Weird Reconstruction. And I'll just have the Hellion move forward one. And pick to the face on the one Nasher that isn't bleeding. And slice off on the very same. And maybe a little weird reconstruction. And there we go. Here we going to take a risk on the spider web, and no luck. Don't have any more bandages. And now we've completed the mission. Okay, let's get out of here and get some healing.
Paths and roads bring soldiers and supplies. Let them arrive unharried.
Only 11,000 gold. This is what happens when you don't bring an antiquarian. Plenty of heirlooms, though, and we finally have a piece of gesture-specific equipment in the form of a bright tambourine. A lot of deeds, too. And the equally valuable reward of experience. And now I have two different heroes in this team with a weak grip on life. I'm gonna need to get that treated at some point.
You will know the tragic extent of my failings.
Okay, first, Vernon has a disease that I need to get rid of. Second, before it becomes locked in, I'm gonna get rid of Stafford's weak grip on life. Okay. So I could trade... We have a bounty hunter. Okay, first I'm going to trade away some heirlooms so that I can get... Let's see, how many do I need? I need 12 busts. I'm going to get trade to have 12 busts so that I can get the second level of experienced recruits. The second thing I'm going to do is I'm going to trade my lower level man-at-arms. I'm going to dismiss the man-at-arms.
Shoulders, wild eyes, and a stumbling gait. This one is no more good to us.
Because I finally have a bounty hunter. And frankly, we need a bounty hunter. Like I said, having someone who can fight comfortably in position 1 and can exploit marks is extremely valuable. I still can't go to the peninsula. Damn it, Caretaker! What's taking you so long? This has been 3 weeks. Actually, it's probably only been 1 week, but I'm pretending it's been 3 weeks. I need to de-stress the flagellant, damn it. Okay, I've pretty much done all the upgrading I can. Well, upgrading of structures, that is. Let's upgrade some people. Also, that's one of the downsides of the Abomination class. They're expensive to upgrade. Okay. And we're broke again. Let's see what we can do about that. However, I can take on the next level of the Hag. Sort by level and then sort by class. Let's just sort by level. So, what kind of a team could I put together that would do well against the Hag? Let's see. I want a lot of people who can comfortably attack position 3. I can't bring Dismas because he's too high level. But... So, a Houndmaster, a Highwayman, a Crusader, and a Vestal. The Crusader can't attack position 3, but that in and of itself is fine if he's backed up by people who come... if the damage-dealing portion of the team can. The Crusader can then just knock over the pot whenever someone's inside of it. I think I can do this, and I've been trying to have at least one boss fight in each episode, so... Welcome to this episode's boss run. I need Junia's head and a worry stone. And... let's see... Stalwart Buckle increases his critical chance, but I just want as much as I can that will increase the damage of his ranged skills. So let's go with the Legendary Bracer for plus 20% damage. And... I'll just combine that with a Worry Stone to balance out the stress increase. Let's see, for you... I actually don't want either of the Houndmaster specific items I have, but I do want the Archer's Ring. And... there's not a lot else that I can... Actually, no, I want the Steady Bracer for the even larger boost to accuracy, and then Honestly, I'll give him Dismas's head for even more damage. The Crusader, on the other hand, his role is primarily defensive, so I do want the Signed Conscription and the Glittering Spaulders. Okay, let's see if we can do this. Bring plenty of food. Decent number of shovels, plenty of torches. Large amount of anti-venom and bandages. It's just been I've been all in on the wield today. Well, I mean, we did have that one visit to the crypt. A little medicinal herbs. And a key or two. Okay, let's find out more about the hag.
Her knowledge of horticulturalism and its role in various arcane practices impressed me greatly. My licentious impulse gave way to a genuine professional respect, and together we began to plant, harvest, and brew. There is method in the wild corruption here. It bears a form both wretched and malevolent.
As does everything else that happens around here. Okay, I'm betting that the hag is here.
Nature herself, a victim to the spreading corruption, malformed with misintent.
Oh, yay, slime. A lot of slime. Big slime. Yes, target whistle this slime. Target whistle the towering slime. And pistol shot.
Powerful. Unnerved, unbalanced. Weakened.
Okay, I'm just gonna have the Vestal move so that she can at least use all of her abilities again. I'm just gonna go with pistol shot to get rid of the towering ectoplasm. That does mean they can now use cytokinesis, but I'm gonna have to risk it. And pounce rush. Okay, no cytokinesis this turn. And no cytokinesis ever. There we go.
Success so clearly in view. Or is it merely a
You use
trick
holy
of
water
the
to purge
light?
some evil. And that'll get us some stress reduction on the one hero with meaningful stress. Okay, a little more loose.
Finding the stuff is only the first test. Now it must
And
be carried
even
home.
more loot. And now violence and loot. We've had some loot, we've had some violence, now we get some loot-filled violence. Okay. Start with Stunning Blow. 100%, 30% chance that it stuns. Okay, Open Vein does the same damage as Pistol Shot in the absence of a mark. But Open Vein can cause bleeding. And Target Whistle. So the Giants have protection of 0. Guard for Dazzling Light. And we got the stun this time. I'm just going to focus on getting rid of the Blighted Giant as quickly as possible. Once it's gone, I can worry about the Crone. The Crone is basically just the enemy's version of an occultist. And this one apparently has some accuracy issues. Or perhaps we're just that good. Alright. Vestal is doing healing this time. And Hound's Rush, which can do up to 30. Yeah, I'm liking this team composition a bit better than the team composition I used for the other version of the Crone. And everything it just apparently manages to miss us. What's going on? Okay, Embrace the Dark managed to connect this time. That's a bit of an issue. Bandage. Torch. Pound.
The bigger the beast, the greater the glory.
Judgment. And pistol miss. Okay, Smite, however, Smite knows how to hit things. Okay, now all we have is the tenacious crone, and yeah, she is pretty tenacious if she's still fighting us after that. But now she's dead.
Is broken. Maintain the offensive.
We unlock Strongbox.
Glittering gold, trinkets and baubles. Paid for in blood.
Okay, there is treasure here, but I'm actually not going to... There's also a secret door down here, but I'm also not going to risk that until after the boss is dead. I'll come back for it depending on how things go with the crone, but I'd rather have this mission be a success, even if it means missing out on that loot. Okay, open vein can't reach the enchantress. Pistol shot can't hit the enchantress. Don't give me any of that stuff about how you never miss if you're gonna do that. Okay, can Zealous Accusation kill? No, it can't. But Smite can.
Destroyed.
Judgment could kill, and it does.
Give them no quarter.
We got ourselves a battle vestal. Comfort. See a little bit of broad area healing. And Hound's Rush, except I've been making fun of the Houndmaster for missing since the beginning of this project, and now I managed to miss and accidentally click on the corpse instead of the enemy.
Remind yourself that overconfidence is a slow and insidious killer.
And the pack has a map inside, which means even more scouting. Not very much more, though. I'll not end with nothing. Looks like you're going to end with nothing, actually. The pack has already been looted. And even more scouting. Still hasn't revealed the location of the boss, as if that wasn't obvious. I need the skeleton keys. I'll drop the extra stack of food. Well, I'll eat the extra stack of food to make room for the deeds. And more ectoplasm. Lovely. Though actually, the towering ectoplasm are kind of an easy target for this team composition. Target result. Stunning blow, because why not? Followed up with dazzling light on one of the artilleries, and something had to go wrong eventually.
As the light gains purchase, spirits are lifted, and purpose is made clear.
There's a venom. And pistol shot. And Hound's Rush. Okay, I see it as a towering ectoplasm.
Dissuade the sharpened blade.
Unfortunately, the large corpse is still there.
The ground quakes.
Begone, foul thing. Since I don't actually have a corpse removal ability, I'm just gonna have to take care of it the slow way. Judgment on the left back, because that's all that's left.
As the fiend falls, a faint hope
and there we
blossoms. Go. As victories mount, so too will resistance.
Room in my inventory for any of this loot, but we're so close to the boss, I'm just gonna make camp to create inventory space.
A moment of respite. A chance to steel oneself against the coming horrors.
Zealous Vigil. And then, clean guns. And then I may as well release the Hound to increase scouting chance. And... oh, right. Never mind. I forgot to interact with this other curio over here. And the tent's occupant is revealed. Well, I knew I was taking a risk. I'll save that curio interaction for on the way back. Because frankly, I am planning on coming back and doing these room battles and getting the treasure and the secret door and stuff, but I just want to kill the boss
Packs laden
first.
with loot are often low on supplies.
Actually, right now, the problem we have is kind of the opposite. Packs that are laden with supplies and thus don't have room for enough loot. And I was right about where the boss is. No surprise there. It's pretty much always the farthest point from where you start. And with this team composition, I'd say I'm confident.
Waiting to be spent.
Watch that confidence evaporate in the face of contact with the enemy. I'll leave that behind. And our first Crimson Court enemies of the episode. Target whistle on the supplicant. So that I can follow that up with pistol shot. And not kill. Well, Judgment will finish the job.
Confidence surges as the enemy crumbles.
And since their stun resistance is basically infinite, I may as well go with Smite. Gather the blood. This could actually be a serious problem. It is a serious problem. Because we don't have any of the blood, because when we started this mission, nobody had the Crimson Curse. And now 2 people have the Crimson Curse. Lovely. And we still only have 1 invitation to the courtyard, so when I go to the courtyard, I'm going to have to make that count. Grape Shot Blast.
Precision.
And that's why.
Power.
Judgment to get rid of the
Continue the
supplicant.
onslaught. Destroy them all.
Okay, another anti-venom. Hound's Rush. And there we go. We did win, at least. And we got 2 vials of the blood.
These nightmarish creatures can be felled. They can be beaten.
Okay, I'm not going to deliberately push anyone into Bloodlust, especially since the 2 people who have the Crimson Curse wouldn't really
Twisted
help
and
with it
maniacal.
in Bloodlust.
A slathering testament to the powers of corruption.
And an inspiring cry from the Crusader. And here we go. Okay, Hound's Rush. Let's hit the pot with Hound's Rush. Hit the Hag with Judgment. Well, miss the Hag with Judgment. Seasoned to perfection. Okay, it'd be real nice if the Crusader could get a turn. Please. I asked nicely. Okay, let's just let the Vestal do it. Okay, how do we do this? I'll start by moving the Crusader forward. And you know what? Actually, I don't know who she'll pick, so I'm going to go with Target Whistle in the hopes that I can get a shot at her with Pistol Shot next turn. I can't. Instead, I can just use Wicked Slice and, and free the Crusader on my first action. I wasn't expecting that, but that means that she is still marked, and I can just use Hound's Rush and do a lot of damage very quickly. Divine Comfort. That's the thing about the Hag. You have few opportunities to damage the Hag, but she doesn't have very many hit points. And the Hag isn't marked anymore. Ow.
Grievous injury. Palpable fear.
pistol shot on the hag.
Well struck.
And that's why. Because the other two can take care of the cauldron. Judgment won't do it by itself, but when combined with Smite, it should. Or not! Wonderful. Okay, nobody's at death's door yet. Grape Shot Blast will handle the cauldron. And another critical. Perfect. Okay, just a little more damage and we're done with the hag. And it missed! Into the pot. Finally managed to miss.
Such
Ow.
a terrible assault.
Meat Tenderizer, however, did not miss. Let's go to Inspiring Cry on the one with the most stress. And the hag has 120% stun resistance, and Dazzling and Judgment managed to miss. Okay, target whistle on the hag. I can't use Hound's Rush from position 1, but as long as she doesn't... Yeah, since she didn't grab the Highwayman to go into the pot, he can use Pistol Shot now. And just barely not kill. Wonderful. Okay, just a little more damage and we're done with the hag. But unfortunately, the only person who has a turn yet is the Crusader, and he can't. He one can't finish off the pot in one turn,
Perched
and
at the
two.
very precipice of oblivion.
Okay. And the Houndmaster is at death's door. But the hag has 2 hit points left. We're going to go for Divine Comfort to get our friend here off of death's door. And Grape Shot Blast to get rid of... Double critical Grape Shot Blast to get rid of the hag.
A victory. Perhaps the turning point.
And we got another blueprint, as well as our first bounty hunter specific equipment. Okay, I am actually going to attempt to get to this this treasure here. Okay, I can't do anything with the old tree. We made it. We actually got rid of the hag. That was a little close, but well, it worked. So I have a fair number of battles between me and the secret door. It's worth it for the amount of gold that we get from that. So the other issue is the sheer amount of backtracking isn't going to be great for the stress levels. Alright. And medicinal herbs. Rids the carcass of any
beyond
diseases.
measure.
And now we're at least protected
Awarded
from
to
hunger
the brave
for now.
and the foolhardy alike.
Okay, 3 more battles to get to the secret room. Then we can go home. Of course, that's assuming that we survive those 3 battles. And yeah, with now 3 different heroes who have the Crimson Curse, we need to go to the courtyard soon. Though I only have the problem is I only have 1 invitation, so my 1 visit to the courtyard is going to have to be a good one. And with it being an epic length champion level mission, we're going to need to be thoroughly prepared. But at least the hag is done, and I got another blueprint. I guess it's just novice level bosses don't drop blueprints because that would make things too easy. Okay. And no more Crimson Court enemies. We do have to deal with a ghoul and a priestess. Okay, let's just focus on the ghoul, because if we do, I think we can kill it pretty fast. Pistol shot. Smite. Okay, it will get to take 1 action because I seriously doubt Judgment can one-shot it. So instead I'm going for Divine Grace. Divine Grace, which is now out healing Weird Reconstruction. So we have to deal with whatever the ghoul does. And the ghoul does Skull Toss, and it misses. And it also does Howl. And that also mostly misses. And is the one that doesn't miss is resistant. Congratulations, Mr. Slavering Ghoul, you have accomplished nothing. And now you're dead.
Monstrous size has no intrinsic merit, unless inordinate exsanguination be considered a virtue.
And there we go. for justice.
Seize this momentum. Push on to the task's end.
And room battle with treasure. And another giant. Okay, that could be a problem. Depends a little bit on the turn order we get. Its stun resistance is very high, but its protection is very low. I'm going for Smite. And since the target isn't marked, I'm going for Open Vein. And now I'm going for target. That said, a dazzling light stun would be worth it. And we got one. Okay, so we just have to deal with the crazed Nashers and then we're good. Okay, let's go with some healing for the Vestal.
A momentary abatement.
Not a lot for the Vestal to do.
Quickly the tide turns.
Okay, grab a bandage and Hound's Rush. Unfortunately, even with the huge damage numbers we're getting, this thing is still going to take a while to die.
Pummeling.
Ho-ho! And the Blighted Giant has decided to demonstrate that he can get large damage numbers too. Fortunately, Inspiring Cry will get the Houndmaster off of Death's Door. But it wouldn't be one of my missions if we didn't end with somebody having a mortality debuff. Let's actually pistol shot this Nasher to get rid of it. The Giant will take care of itself now.
The slow
And that leaves just the other Nasher.
Unforgiving.
And there we go. We've just been getting all the criticals this fight, on both sides. We've been getting criticals, the enemies have been getting criticals, it's just criticals for days.
But a victory nonetheless.
And drop the bandages for the deeds. And we're almost at the secret room. And a left luggage. Let's see if this contains anything we can use. Drop the food for the gold. Hopefully we don't get hunger in the next few steps.
Lit. The path is clear.
And more slime.
Only the
There is
strength to
always
follow
more
it.
slime. Okay, pistol shot almost gets rid of one of the slimes. Okay, target whistle the other slime. Be slimed by the slime. And smite the slime. Okay, we should be able to finish, assuming we're all alive, which we will be, we should be able to finish the both slimes off over the course of next round. I think. Okay, pistol shot on the slime, which somehow takes extra damage from pistol shot despite not having vital
A
organs.
momentary abatement.
Hound's Rush on this slime, actually. Okay, it's just gonna go for big slime. Because the Crusader wouldn't be able to reach the other ectoplasm. And more blood. More blood!
Pride precipitates a dizzying fall.
Okay, and our last skeleton key.
A handsome reward for a task well performed.
And drop our last two supply items. And let's get out of here. Got plenty of heirlooms, plenty of gold. Got a lot of heirlooms. It's good. The hamlet needs some upgrades. And we have another blueprint. And 3 more champions emerge.
In time, you will know the tragic extent of my failings.
Okay, so the fanatic is back. Alright, I'm gonna need to be careful. I'm pretty sure the fanatic cannot show up in the courtyard, though. Okay. Let's get some stress treatment for the one person who really needs stress treatment, Arundel. Let's see, what can I treat her with? I can't treat her at all. Okay, let's get torn up but spotted fever treated. But before I spend the rest of my boon, my loot, this is going to be the end for this episode. We've defeated another boss, and 2 more people have the Crimson Curse. Thank you all for watching. I love you all, and I will see you next time.